Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening everyone, my name is Dominooo and I will be commentating your pre-season Formula Rookie race here on AOR today. We have a roster of 12 drivers for this race. Obviously it's the pre-season race to see if everyone's up and going, if everything's working, getting used to the car, getting used to the track. We are on the lovely Willow Springs circuit here in USA. I think a really underrated circuit from the American ones. I'm getting a feeling that some others like Laguna Seca or for example Daytona get more attention than this one, but it's still a great circuit for racing nonetheless, despite a short one. And we are already go for quali. I'm hoping everything's alright with the stream. I'm always getting some issues with the stream, but due to my pretty poor internet connection, but I think everything's alright for now. We have WMDR Martin, one of our drivers here, appearing for most of the AOR Racing Project CARS too. He's been with us for quite a few years now. Excuse me if I'm a bit rusty with the commentary. I haven't done it in quite a few months, so I'm getting back on track now. And too fast, already off the track on his installation lap, but he seems to be up and going once again. Maybe let's get us the track map. Oh, and he stopped trackside now. Seems like something's wrong, but let's continue with the other drivers. WMDR Martin already on his. Pretty slidey it seems. Formula Rookie cars are obviously a little bit slow for the Formula cars, but many people agree that slower cars make for better racing. Oh, knocked off the cone there. Seems a little bit choppy on the stream, but I'm hoping it will be alright later. He's heading towards turn 8, getting really close to the end of his lap, and we have Old Padawan, I think that's Tony Clifton, already set up a qualifying time of 1:36.6. WMBR Martin heading to the finish line. Let's see what time does he get. I think that lap was invalidated, or was it 1:30.0? 6 seconds quicker. Oh, and too fast. Once again off the track. And we have more times coming in. Dudek the pole with 1:28.4. And we have a GC Rider with a 1:30.2. Middle lap leaving the pit lane. Finally, all cars on the track. Well, small car, but quite a small track as well. But I think everyone's going to have space to drive without a problem and set a qualifying lap. Ticklish Picklewickle, our coordinator and moderator for the AOR community, now heading into the last turn, turn 9, and he will set a qualifying lap soon as well. Oh, and going a little bit wider, and it's a invalidated lap time, so commentator CARS in its full here. I'm sorry. Let's continue with Anton, not having set a qualifying lap yet, but he's heading towards the end of the lap. Should be a lap soon. Matlock right now sitting in P3, 1.4 seconds off, and he's now 4th. I think that's the WMDR Martin that overtook him with a 29.1, and this is Ryder coming into the 28s, 28.9, puts him on P3. I'm sorry, that's my phone. Let me mute it. Speeding Sedan, one of our Dutch drivers. Now, oh, and that's a crash in qualifying. That's a crash between the two drivers, but who is that has hit Speeding Sedan? Let me see. I'm not entirely sure who was that. I think that was Tony Clifton who hit Speeding Sedan right there. I could be wrong though. Well, that was quite an awkward crash. Speeding Sedan going a little bit shaky on the start-finish line. But there should have been all the space in the world to avoid him. But seems like there wasn't. WMDR Martin in the pits as well. Old Padawan leaving the pit lane right now. Need a lap, and Ticklish Pickle still without a lap. But let's continue with Need a lap to see what time he puts. Oh, and we have a disconnect. I think that's WMDR Martin that's left us. Not good. Let's hope he rejoins for the race. Now Need a lap crossing the start-finish line, and it's a 131.1, puts him on P6 right now. We have still over 8 minutes of qualifying, more than half of the session still ahead of us, so still many lap times to come, hopefully. Well, Paul Bedra with quite some invalidations, wonder what happened there. He's now leaving the pit. Hello Dallas, if you're watching this, don't be afraid to chat. If I don't forget, I'll be reading the chat. We are still in qualifying, so not that much action coming in right now. And WMDR Martin is back with us. His time has been deleted, so let's hope he puts another good time in. This rider coming across the line now. Let's see what time does he get. And to take the pole comes with a new pole time of 28.0. Oh, that is quite some gap to P2, 7 tenths off. In those cars, seems like a big gap. Because Pico with a lap time set as well, P4, now P5 with 29.3, throwing the car around turn 5, now crossing Monroe Bridge. And Lord I don't know, great nickname by the way. He has set a time that's put him P4 with a 29.01 second off pole. Now back into the pits. Anton in the pits as well, P8 right now. Another guy that's been with us for quite a long while in the Project CARS community. Paul currently sitting in P9, just crossed the line. 31.4 his quickest time right now. WMDR Martin close to the finishing line as well. After his disconnect. No time set for him due to that. And he comes across the line with, let's see. Oh, no time from him. I think that was actually his installment lap, so excuse me. And do take the pole. now into the 27th. Polish driver 8 tenths ahead of P2. Little over 5 minutes to the end of the session. And I'm hoping that we get some closer lap times to that 27 from other drivers, because right now it seems like a little bit of a domination. But obviously it's not F1, where that kind of gap would have probably eliminated anyone from overtaking him, but we'll see how it goes in the race. Hopefully great racing ahead of us. Little cars, but they can bring great racing, as we saw in the first season of the series. I'm personally hoping for a return of Formula Renault. I feel Streets or Horsesweet Mile would have been a better choice for those cars than Big Willow. That's just me. The Willow Springs are actually, I feel it isn't that big of a track, but those cars are quite small, so yeah, this track feels pretty big for them. WMDR Martin finally with a lap time set, sitting in P7 with a 29.4. Lap times coming in as we speak, as the session progresses. Someone going off right there in the back. I think that was Dudek. He went back into the pits now. All in the pit lane as well. I want to see who is that crossing the line right now. But I can't find him. That was Nidelap. Now 30.2, still P9. Old Padawan P2 now. Crossing turn 5. If my memory is correct, I think Old Padawan was one of the contenders or even the winner of the first season. I may be wrong, so excuse me if I'm wrong, but that was over 2 years ago now. Time flies, but we are back with season 2. Project Cars 2 still going strong, at least until we see Project Cars 4. It seems like he won't improve his lap over 2 times down in the second sector. Crosses the line now, and he has improved actually. That's a 28.4, 5 tenths off Dudek. Little less than 3 minutes until the end of the session. WMDR Martin jumping up into P3, 28.8 from him. Little Pickle 29.05 right now. Duda going through the back straight right now, and he is letting go one of the other cars. Seems like he isn't on a fast lap. Maybe he was in the slipstream, but I doubt it gives much of an effect in those cars. There is almost no arrow on them. But I'm not an expert, so I won't speak in that matter. Almost everyone on track, only Paul in the pit lane right now. The other 11 cars are still contending to try and set a better lap. Oh, Dudek actually now trying to overtake the car that he's led by. And he is done so. Let's drive aboard with him to see if he can improve 1 minute 20 seconds until the end. Little less than 1 lap time of the track. Throwing this car around the track, I feel it's the quickest way to drive this Formula Rookie, just to throw it around. Too Fast has pitted. Let's check with the others. We have someone crossing the line right now. Oh, and Anton is off in turn 3, I think it is. He's now back on track. Dudek now heading into turn 8, closing in on the start finish line. Quite a big group of cars a few seconds behind him. Well, we can call that a slipstream train, I guess. 15 seconds until the end of the session. Let's hope we don't get another Monza Q3 right there, because that is quite a little time left until the session ends. And it doesn't feel like most of the cars can cross the line. No, they won't. Well, that is quite an awkward situation. And I think that's only Dudek left on a lap. On a lap. So Old Padawan right now sitting in P2, 28.2. No one will beat Dudek. But let's see if he can improve his lap time. It's confirmed Dudek the pole on pole position for the Willow Springs preseason race. And it doesn't feel like he's going to improve. 7 tenths down in the first sector. So that's it. That's your qualifying order right there on the left. I don't think we have... Oh, we actually have a penalty incoming. Too fast 1 grid place penalty for pit lane violation. He will be starting P10. I don't think we have other penalties coming in. So the gap to P2, 3 tenths, actually not as bad as I would have thought. After after early gaps. But if we do like the pole taking pole positions, the pole taking pole, Old Padawan in P2, Lord I don't know, Bird and MDR Martin alongside him in P4. GC Rider P5 with Pico in P6. Mad Dog starts in P7 with Nidalap in 8 behind his 2 teammates, Paul in P9 and Too Fast in P10. Anton starts P11 and Speeding Sedan closes of the grid. So last preparations for the race. We don't have points for this race, of course, it's the pre-season race, but quite a fair series, I would say. We have points for every for every contestant in the top 20. Also, we will have 4 rounds in America. That's quite a large representation for the new continent. I don't know if I can call it the new continent, but let's go over the calendar. We have Willow Springs followed by Sonoma, Long Beach, Zhuhai, Silverstone, Indianapolis, and ending up at Brandsatch. And we're getting ready to start the race. Standing start for this race for the 20-minute sprint, followed by a 40-minute race with a flying start, and we are syncing, we are getting ready. The lights will go off soon. 5 green lights and we are go. Quite a slow start from the pole sitter. You take the pole already down to P2. Great start from WMDR Martin. He's up into P2 and Old Padawan takes P1 right now. So not a good start for Dudek the pole. PC Rider now up into P4, followed by Lord I don't know very closely. Oh, and we have a car off I think that's Paul off the track right now. He's already back on the circuit, but let's go back into what's going on at the front. GC Rider up into P3, turn 4. And now up into P3, Dudek the Pole losing 3 positions at the start. And Dudek now following the 2 red and green cars. Oh, that's a nice switch back, and Dudek is now contesting for P3. And he's up to P3. GC Rider being closely followed by Lord I don't know. Because Pico closes off the top 6. First 7 cars pretty close, then there is a gap to the other contestants. Old Padawan now in danger. WD Martin getting closer and closer to him, but actually bad exit of turn 9. And it feels like Old Padawan will keep his lead, and WD Martin now 3 wide into turn 1, actually 2 wide, as Dudek stops contesting for that position for now. We have a bad exit from Lord I don't know, and Dudek is back into P3. Now GC Rider contesting for P4, but he won't get the move done for now. Let's see Dudek now alongside WMBR Martin and back into P2. Now getting closer and closer to Old Padawan. Let's see what's going on behind, because I think Mad Dog is getting closer and closer to English Pico. That doesn't seem like the move will be made for now, and Dudek going around the outside in turn 9. I think he won't be able to complete the move for now, crossing the pit entry line, tucking into the slipstream of Old Padawan. Now WMDR Martin and Lord I don't know, they are 4 wide into turn 1. Oh Lord, that is fantastic racing. Oh, and Lord I don't know goes off the track. Now back into the circuit, rejoining in P6. GC Rider now going off as well, cutting quite a hefty bit of the track. But he's back and racing with us in P7. Let's go back to what's happening at the front. Dudek now into P1, Old Padawan P2, WNDR Martin following them close in P3. Followed by Tykus Pico, now trying to get to WNDR Martin, and Dudek running wide in turn 5. Maddock now taking P4 possibly. He's running alongside Tykus Pico. The frame rate issue stream related, yes. I hope I can resolve it for the next stream. I'm really sorry, but I think my settings are alright. I don't quite know what's happening with it. Now we are heading back into the start-finish straight, and Old Padawan will make a move on Dudek. Oh! Quite a bit of touching there. Old Padawan responds, but in the meantime, WMDR Martin tries to go around the outside. Oh, and that's a hit. WMDR Martin being hit by Dudek. Going off track for a second, but he's back and racing. Top 3 still very close. Tykus Pico in 4th as well, really close to the battle. Mad Dog following them. And Old Padawan being hit by Dudek. And that's a crash. And they have lost quite a bit of time. WMBR Martin takes the lead now. Mad Dog following him in P2, Tykus Pico 3rd. And Old Padawan and Dudek rejoining in P5 in P6. Well, that is not what we want to see. Wonder whose fault was it there. I think that will be that will have to be analyzed post race. Obviously, no penalties. This is the pre-season race. No points being awarded for this one. Martin now followed by Mad Dog, and Mad Dog is taking the lead for now. Because Pico 3/10 behind them, and he has quite a run on both of them. He can't take any of this top 2 spot for now. He'll tag behind them and follow. So WMDR, Martin and Mad Dog still fighting up for P1. Great racing so far in those little cars. Very closely matched. Mad Dog seems to be ahead for now, but he has the outside line for this corner. And WMDR Martin keeps the lead for now. Let's see what's going on behind them. Lord, I don't know. Following Pico and getting closer and closer. He could be taking P3 soon. As we head to the end of the back straight into the sweeper. Pico has a run on Mad Dog, taking the outside line into P9 into turn 9. Excuse me. We could have another fight for the lead going on the start-finish line. And Mad Dog now trying to have another run on WMDR Martin. And he'll take the lead for now. We are on lap 6 out of 14. Oh, and WMDR Martin has problems now being overtaken by Lord Aronoas. And Lord Aronoas goes into P1. Because Pico drops down into 3rd and Mad Dog into 4th. Well, 6 laps and so many lead changes already. But I don't know, 3/10 of a gap between him and P2. That's quite big. Car length between him and P2. So that's big in those little cars. Because Pico following at P3. Mad Dog, Dudek and Old Padawan following them in P4, 5 and 6. The 2 previous leaders now catching up back after their little crash a few laps earlier. Let's see what's going on the back. Anton getting quite close to speeding Sedan. But doesn't seem like he'll make a move yet. Back into the action. Oh, and someone runs wider. That's WMDR Martin running wide. Oh, Lord. Lord Aronoas seems to have a very calm and secure lead for now, but you can't. Oh, that's almost too wide into the Mad Dog pause. Doesn't put that move off for now. We are halfway through the race and we still have a 4-way fight for the win. That's amazing. Oh, and Lord Aronoas going off, being pushed by Mad Dog. That's, again, not particularly nice move right there. Quite a lot of crashing as well. Mad Dog now into P1. Old Padawan less than 1 second behind him. And we know he's quite fast. He can chase Mad Dog without problems. So let's see how that unfolds. Because Pico following them closely behind, also within the 1 second window. Obviously no DRS, we don't even have rear wings in those cars, but it doesn't make them any less exciting. And Dudek catching up as well. WMDR Martin 6 seconds back, doesn't seem like he can contest for the lead for now. Let's see. Because Pico getting even closer and closer to Old Padawan, and we are 3 wide into turn 1 once again. Let's see how that unfolds. Tykoszpikołeko momentarily goes into the lead. Oh, and old Padawan is out of the race. Or is he? Rolling over the car. Oh, and being hit once again. That seems to be race over. But that is not quite what we want to see. Few accidents going on already in this first race. And it seems like Old Padawan is out of the contention for the race win. GT Rider up into P3 after that crash. WMDR Martin trying to make a move on his teammate, but they collide. And WMDR Martin wins that fight for now. But the battle still continues. WMDR Martin going wide in turn 5 as they head onto the back straight now. Tykoszpikołeko half a second behind Mad Dog. WMDR Martin in P3, 6 seconds of the lead. Oh, and Lord Aronoas seems to be out of the race as well. Well, we have a yellow flag in turn 1. Let's hope our racers keep that in mind. Tykoszpikołeko now making a move for P1. Round the outside. As they drive by the not safely parked car of Lord Arono. GT Rider once again trying to take P3 back from WMDR Martin, and Dudek the Poe following them closely behind, benefiting from those two fighting. Are there any penalties outside of the session for doing that stuff? Some of the contact seems intentional. Well, for this race we don't have any penalties as it's the pre-season race. We will have penalties for the season itself. And that's another crash. GT Rider being pushed by Dudek the Poe outside of the circuit, and he is down into P5. But like I was saying, no penalties for this race yet, but for the season races itself, the ones that will have points given away, we will have penalties for sure. And I am pretty sure that this race would have a rain of penalties. We are down to 11 runners. I don't know who. I think that's Lord Aronoas that has left after that hefty crash. That was race over for him. Old Padawan following in P10 after the crash in his quite severely damaged car. Poe in P11 cruising calmly. I don't know what happened there, but he is over 1 minute behind the leaders. And Tykoszpikołeko with Mad Dog still fighting off. And they are heading towards the lapped cars for the first time in this race. I think that's Paul that they will soon cross. WMDR Martin being closely followed by Dudek the Poe, our pole sitter, down into P4. Down into the lower positions since lap 1 after not quite a good start. Losing 3 positions at the start. And Mad Dog getting closer and closer to Tykoszpikołeko now through turn 8. And into turn 9 onto the start-finish straight. He's getting closer and closer and will possibly make a move at the end of the straight. We are starting lap 11, 3 laps until the end of the race, and we can still have a different leader. Still don't know who the race winner will be. Let's see how will it unfold. But Mad Dog quite not a good run into turn 1. Still holding on to that P2 position. Tykoszpikołeko leading the race. Well, quite lucky to avoid all those incidents that happened. WMDR Martin, one of the victims of the aforementioned incident, now in P3. Closely followed by Dudek, and they will be getting past Old Padawan. No, that's not Old Padawan, but another lapped car. Oh, that is Paul. Oh, and Dudek goes wide. He knocks off the cone and loses time to WMDR Martin. Let's get back to the fight for the lead. Maddock 4 attempts behind Tykusz Pikołyko. And he's getting closer and closer. Now heading into the start-finish straight. Soon lap 12 will be upon us. Doesn't seem like he has a good enough run to make a move into turn 1, but let's see. He stays in P2. Waits for the opportunity, for the correct timing. Tykusz Pikołyko goes wide into turn number 2. Mad Dog 1 car length behind him. Closely by. Oh, let's not leave the session. Let's see Dudek catching up back to WMDR Martin despite that mistake that he's made earlier. Well, Maddock can't quite seem to catch up to Tykusz Pikołyko, following closely by. Perhaps he's waiting for the last lap to overtake him and not get overtaken back due to the slipstream. But we'll see. 2 more laps. We're starting lap 13 soon. Dudek closer and closer to WMDR Martin, 4 times back now. Let's see how is it the leaders right now. Well, Dudek now with the fastest lap of the race, 1 second faster than the next fastest lap. He's going for a move around the outside of WMDR Martin. Should be secure with that P3 for now. He's 1 second faster per lap than WMDR Martin. Faster than his pole time now, 27.5, and the pole time was 27.5 and the pole time was 27.9. So trying to make a comeback right now, but I don't believe he can pull off those 5 seconds in the upcoming lap, as we are starting the final lap soon. Mad Dog still tailing Tykusz Pikołyko. And I think he's now closer than ever. We will pull up alongside into turn 1. Can try to make a move right now as we're starting the last lap of this race. Goes quite wide and can't make the move yet. And let's check behind them. WMDR Martin still closely following Dudek. Our pole sitter quite quick, but doesn't seem as consistent as he can be. Mad Dog still close, 2 tenths behind Tykusz Pikołyko. They cross turn 4 right now, but Mad Dog seems to have a bad exit of that turn and he will stay in P2. Let's check behind them. WMDR Martin dropping behind Dudek, who is now 3.5 seconds off. He's catching them so quickly. Already gained 2 seconds from the last lap, but I don't think he will be able to catch up to them in the last two turns of the race. Mad Dog 2.5 tenths behind Pico right now as we are heading through turn 9 for the last time in this race. Mad Dog's very close behind Pico right now as we are going onto the start-finish straight. And he will pull up alongside, but can he make the move for the win? And it doesn't seem like it. Ticklish Pico takes the win for the sprint race for the preseason round for Formula Rookie. Mad Dog close, very close behind him. Photo finish right there. Dudek the pole following in P3. GC Rider P5 after making quite a few appearances on P3 in the race. Middle crosses the line in P6. Speeding Sedan soon will cross the line and take P7. Oh. We see some accidents going off the track, fortunately after the end of the race. Old Padawan, after quite a rocky first race, crossed the line in P9. He could have taken the win, but was quite unfortunate with the accidents on the track. And that's it for race 1. Stay with us. We will be back for race 2 soon. Tykusz Piekowicz taking P1 after Mad Dog is penalized. So if there wouldn't be this penalty, Mad Dog would have won by 1,000 of a second. 1 second of the penalty, and he finishes a second behind Tykusz Piekowicz. Well, that's quite unexpected. That's a photo finish right there. 1,000 of a second between P1 and P2. Dudek the pole crosses the line P3. WMD Martin 4th with GC Rider 5th. Lap 6th. Speeding Sedan 7th. Anton 8th. Old Padawan P9. Too Fast 10th with his teammate Paul in P11. And Lord Aronoas has retired on lap 7, so he won't be classified. He ends the race. Well, so like I mentioned, we will be back for race 2 soon. Oh, and what was the fastest lap of the race? Let me check. I'm pretty sure the fastest lap was a 126.5 by our pole sitter, Dudek the pole. He finished in P3. Well, that was quite the finish. Mad Dog kept his car behind Tykusz Piekowicz for quite some laps, leading to this photo finish. But at the end, he can't take the win due to his penalty. Quite unfortunate, but that's racing. We are back with the racing after one of our drivers had a little issue with his VR set. We had a little bit of a delay, but we are back now. Just waiting for race 2 to start. 29 laps or 40 minutes of racing. As you prefer, say it. We'll have Ticklish Pickwickle starting on pole position. Oh, will he? Oh, excuse me. We have, I think, a reversed grid order for this race. We'll have a rolling start. Then the cameraman's hands are quite a bit shaky. He must be quite exhausted after this race one. We had photo finish between Ticklish Pickwickle and Mad Dog. As we later saw, Mad Dog penalized with 1 second, and he has been classified in P2 due to that. But if not for that, it was 1,000 of a second between the two drivers. And in the favor of Mad Dog, so just lost his win due to that penalty. And we had Ticklish Pickwickle, our moderator and coordinator for this league, take the win. And we are ready, we are getting ready for the formation lap now. Don't get confused, we are just forming up as Project CARS 2 doesn't have a system for rolling starts. And we have Paul Vedra taking 1 as we have a reverse grid order. Too fast will second. Old Padawan following him in P3. We have the others slowly following behind them. Lord Aronoas will start last due to his disconnect after quite a hefty crash in race 1. With a map going for this race as well. Is the game still competitive versus competitive VRS like ACT? I don't know what are you talking about, but if you mean VR, VR is fantastic in Project Cars 2, really, as well as in AMS2. And if you mean is this game competitive as in competitive racing game, it very much is, despite the driving model isn't as realistic as ACC or iRacing. It's very much fun, great selection of trucks and cars. And I think it still can compete with games like iRacing or R Factor 2. But I think now now we are waiting for Project Cars 4 as well, as Project Cars 3 was a bit of a... Well, let's just not speak about it. It wasn't fantastic. And we are getting ready with the formation lap. Everyone's catching up slowly. Paul starting in P1 after finishing last in race 1. Too fast in second. Old Padawan in P3. Anton 4th on the second row of the grid. Beating Saddam 5th, followed by Nidalap. GC Rider in 7th. Dudek the Pole in P8. WMDR Martin 9th, followed by Mad Dog. Now starting last. Our race 1 winner, Ticklish Pickwickle, starting in P11. P11. Like I mentioned, Lord Arono is taking the last place after he disconnected. And we are getting close to the start-finish line now. We will soon be ready to start the race. We are off to a rolling start. And we are waiting for Paul to dictate the rest of the grid to go. And we are off and we are racing. Good start from Old Padawan, following into P2. He's followed by Too Fast and Anton. And we have a car off. That's Turkish Pickwickle. Our race 1 winner is off and down into last. Wonder what happened there. We couldn't see what happened. But let's go back into the leaders already. The top 4 quite close to each other. Oh, and Too Fast overshoots this corner and he will spin and be hit by another car. And Speeding Sedan is off as well. We already have 2 cars off. Turkish Pickwickle catching up to them. Oh, and Turkish Pickwickle getting caught up in the debris after this crash. Old Padawan takes P1, followed by Paul and Anton, GC Rider, 1 second behind the leading pack in P3. Let's see what's happening behind them. Lord Arono going wide in turn 6. He's back on the circuit now. Look at the Paul catching him up. And it looks like we will have another great fight for the win in this race as well. Old Padawan keeps his lead for now, but Paul is close behind him. Now heading into turn 2, we have 4 pit stops on the second lap. WMDR Martin, Lord Aronoas, Dudek the Paul, and Mad Dog and Speeding Sedan as well are heading into the pits for a stop. I think that's just to get the mandatory stop off, or was that for damage? I'm not quite sure. Too Fast is off, and I think he is out of the race. Seems like it. Car stopped moving, and I think that's Too Fast out of contention for the win. But let's go back to the leading pack. Anton now in P3, closely behind Paul, heading into turn 8. A lapped car getting in the way. Well, not getting in the way, he's already let them past. Those Nidalap struggling quite a bit. I don't know what happened to him. And Too Fast. Maybe some hardware issues. We are starting lap 4. Fastest lap from Old Padawan, 128.0. 1/10 off the pole position time for race 1, 27.9. That was set by Dudek the Pole. He's currently sitting in P7. And let's check Paul getting closer and closer to Old Padawan. And we have a disconnect and quite a big slide by Paul, but he's holding on. Still in P2. Wonder who is that we lost. I think that's Too Fast. That's disconnected. Seems like a hardware issue for him, but I will have to check. No fights going on at this moment. Oh, and we have another disconnect. We are down to 10 runners. Oh, and some smoke going over there. Wonder what happened there. And Anton getting around on Paul. Seems like Paul has made a mistake in one of those last 2 turns. And Anton will take E2 now. And Lord Aronoas has retired. We are getting a message on the race feed. Paul retaking P2 into turn 1. Speeding Sedan and Nidalap in the pits right now. Old Padawan now 3 seconds ahead of P2. Quite a big lead. 3 cars out of the race as well. Doesn't look good. Beating Sedan and Needle up for quite a long time in the pits now. Wonder what happened to the two of them. Hopefully they will rejoin on the circuit. We also have a third car in the pits now. Moving away. Oh, that's Needle up. He is... Yes, he is moving. He's now leaving the pits. Speeding Sedan has finished his stop as well. Beating Sedan some 3 minutes of the lead, but he's rejoined. He is back in the running. Up there, the Martin going a little bit wide to turn 1. Dipping his wheels onto the gravel. But Padawan still over 1 second, over 3 seconds from B2, keeping up the lead, and we have some clouds on the horizon. I don't think we have a rain schedule for this race, but it looks quite dark on the sky. Have overcast for the feature race, so I think we will stay with the clouds. There's no rain scheduled. Would certainly make things a little bit interesting. A little bit more interesting, let's say. That didn't sound good. Well, no on-track action right now. GC Rider getting closer and closer to Anton. And GC Rider closer and closer to Anton. Anton with a little bit of a tank slapper. Now trying to make a move into turn 1. And GC Rider sets the fastest lap for now 28.2 crossing the line, and he is taking P3 with that move on Anton. Oh, quite a slide here from GC Rider. Certainly will invite Anton back into the fight. But Padawan now with a 4-second lead. We have another disconnect. We are down to 8 runners, but quite a small field right now. 8 runners in this race. Hopefully we'll see all 17 signed up runners for actual round 1. see rider going a little bit wide to the last turn. That retirement we had earlier was needle up. We are down to 8 runners, as I mentioned. Out Padawan 4.5-second lead over P2. Should be 5 seconds soon as Paul leaves the circuit and drops down into P3. Oh, that's quite a big slide right there. Drops down into P4. Anton takes the last podium spot for now. Maybe Tikush Pikoiko can chase off Paul and take P4. We'll see. He's now 3 seconds behind him. As we are slowly heading towards the middle of the race. Pikoiko now 2 seconds behind Paul. WMDR Martin 33 seconds of the lead. Dudek closely behind him. And speeding Sedan 4 minutes off. Running in P8, dead last after some early race shenanigans. And Dudek the pole still with the quickest lap of the race. It's 28.2 right now. Because Pikoiko now less than a second behind Paul. We could see a move soon. Last lap from Paul was 45.4. Obviously with that spin, losing 2 places, dropping from 2nd to 4th. Pikoiko improves on his best lap, 28.8 right now. 7/10 to pole right now, crossing turn 2. Well, not a lot of action right now. I'm not really Murray Walker to make an interesting race out of this. So we have some fights right now. Dudek the pole already called up to WMDR Martin as they are crossing the finishing line to start lap 12. Dudek going around the outside but can't quite make the move stick yet. WMDR Martin closes the door. Dudek will try the outside for the next corner, but he is dropping for now. And good run out of turn 2 right now for Dudek. And Dudek set the fastest lap on the last, on lap 11, 27.5, 4 times faster than his pole time lap. And Dudek's getting closer and closer. He will take the outside line for turn 8. Let's see if he can make the move stick. Doesn't seem like it for now, as they are going alongside each other. But oh my goodness, and that's quite a hefty crash for WMDR Martin and Dudek the pole. And they will rejoin with quite some damage. WMDR Martin straight into the pits. Dudek continues out on the circuit. Doesn't seem to take such heavy damage despite that big hit onto the wall. Let's go back to Cyklish Pikuiku and pole. Old Padawan over 8 seconds of a lead right now. Not the quickest car on track, but obviously with his start and no pit stop, he will be leading for now. And Cyklish Pikuiku will go into the pits, despite he has already completed one stop. So let's go back to Dudek. He's now going through turn 6 onto the back straight. WMDR Martin letting his teammate pass as he is the lapped car right there. And old Padawan lost 1 second to GC Rider on the last lap. Paul actually getting really close to Anton. We could have a fight for the podium right there, as we are more or less halfway through the race. Lap 14 out of 29. Everything can still happen. Like this pole goes really wide onto the grass and loses quite a bit of time to Anton. GC Rider going alongside his teammate WMDR Martin, who's 1 lap down. Oh, and going into the grass right there. So we will have some racing between the two teammates, I'm guessing, despite one of them is 1 lap down. They are following each other closely. Good place to take a photograph of them. And Anton is going into the pits. No, oh, we can't quit. Oh, and Anton has missed his pit stall. And it seems like he has stalled. Oh, now back into his pit spot. Already finished the pit stop. Paul, in the meanwhile, has entered the pit lane as well. And due to that mistake from Anton, he will take P3. He will take P3 for the but they are not quite so much far away from each other. Could still be a fight for the P4 and P5. Also not not a long gap between him and Ticklish Pickwickle, who is currently running in P3. Old Padawan running in P1, still keeping that 7.5 second gap to PC Rider. So the gap seems to diminish now. It was 6 seconds for a while, but it's 6 seconds for a second, but it's back to 7 seconds now. Ticklish Pickwickle 50 seconds behind Old Padawan in P3 right now. So this roof look looks quite a bit like the 90s F1 cars, I think. The rider still 7.5 seconds behind Old Padawan, though in some corners he seems to be quicker, and every now and then he makes the gap seem to be less than 7.5 seconds. Oh, losing time to Pickwickle 5 seconds down right now. Anton following him 2 seconds behind. Dudek in P6 and W and MDR Martin and Speeding Sedan follow them. In absence of the end of the race, little more than 15 minutes. Well, more than 15 minutes. It seems like either the tires are dropping or our contestants are getting a little bit slower. Pretty much 29s all around the circuit, 30s even. Dudek still dipping into the 28s with a 28.9 right now. Pickwickle catching up actually to Old Padawan. 49 seconds of a gap right now, but I doubt he can make up those 49 seconds even with a pit stop from Old Padawan in this next 13 lap. We are starting lap 18, Old Padawan with a 28.8, so still pace left in those tires. Pickwickle 52 seconds off in 3 right now. Not quite as much trackside action as the last race, but this is the preseason race. We don't have racing for points yet. Let's see the fastest lap. It's 27.5 from Dudek the pole. He's running in P6 right now, 3 seconds off Anton in P5. 8 seconds of a gap again for Old Padawan. Well, Dudek has finally caught up to Anton. I think a mistake from the driver in 5th place right now happened, and Dudek is up into P4. Yes, 31.9 last lap from Anton, so must have been quite a mistake from him in the last lap. Paul following 6 seconds behind. Doesn't seem like Anton has the pace to catch up back to Dudek. Fastest car on track right now. Anton continues to drop his pace. Paul now 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind him. Maybe we'll see some fighting right there. Beating down over 4 minutes off the race leader, but he still continues to race or to drive, let's say. WMDR Martin 7th lap down of the leader. So 7 laps to go. Second race not quite as interesting as the first one. Old Padawan 7 seconds ahead of DC rider. Nicholas Pikuliko following then in P3. Oh, now 2 seconds off Anton. He should be catching him up in a few laps time. The gap seems to be getting smaller and smaller. 1.5 seconds right now to Anton. They are starting lap 22, and a mistake there from Anton going into the grass, losing grip and making a twist mistake. Paul gets a run on Anton. He's getting closer and closer. Going to turn 3. On Paul goes wide. Paul goes wide and won't make the move yet. Managed to stick the car. To save after going wide onto the grass right there. Or onto the gravel, or I say. This rider pretty much matched on pace with old Padawan. 7 seconds off right now. 3 tenths quicker on the last lap than old Padawan. But doesn't seem to be catching up so far. Let's go back to Paul and Anton. And Paul actually overtook Anton in the meantime. So GC Rider now 5.9 seconds off. Seems like old Padawan has made a mistake. But the gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger again. Seems not a great lap from GC Rider so far as well. 6.5 seconds off. That's less than most of the time. But doesn't seem like he's gaining. In the meantime, Paul has retired. That makes Dudek jump into P4, Anton into P5 if I'm correct. We have 5 DNFs so far. Doesn't seem like we are getting any fight on the track soon. GC Rider 6 seconds off. Old Padawan in the lead, catching up to one of the lapped cars. It's Anton getting lapped soon by old Padawan. Not Padawan goes into the pits, and GC Rider will take over the lead for now. Pretty stop as well, as we have 2 laps to go. He drops into P2. GC Rider, like I said, he won right now. And if GC Rider doesn't pit, then doesn't seem like Odd Padawan has a chance to catch up to GC Rider, as we have 2 laps to go. Lap is 18 seconds right now. We'll see what GC Rider does. "21 seconds of a gap right now, and it is the last call for GC Rider to go into the pits. He will be starting the last lap of the race. Seconds now. And yes, he will go into the pits on the penultimate lap. And Out Padawan will probably take over the lead again. Oh, and GC Rider misses his pit stall. I think that's pretty much confirmed that Old Padawan takes back the lead and will continue to march towards his victory, as we are starting last lap of the race. Old Padawan GC Racing drops more than 7 seconds behind. Lost precious time on that unfortunate pit stop. Now almost 10 seconds off. And I think we can be certain that Old Padawan will take the victory here. Also, Dudek the pole has seems to have caught up to Tigus Picowico. Very close behind him now. Could still take the podium away from Tigus Picowico, our race 1 winner, as they are heading into turn 3 now. Dudek knocks off the cone. Half a second behind Ticklish Picowico. They are pretty closely matched on pace, though Ticklish was quite slow on the last lap. Old Padawan crosses the line to take the win. GC Rider follows him in P2, but let's check the fight for P3. Dudek gets closer and closer. 2/10 of a gap right now as they are going through turn 8. He is getting closer and closer. I don't think there are any penalties between those two, but we will have to check. Dudek with the fastest second sector, but he makes a mistake in the last turn, and it seems like Ticklish Picowico will keep his P3. Crosses the line, and that's a podium for the Dane, and Dudek finishes in P4. Still very close after this 29 lap race, but Dudek won't get a podium this time. And Anton will follow them in P5. Home race from Anton pretty much. Didn't have the pace to match the leaders in this race. Finishes in P5. WMDR Martin following in P6. And Speeding Sedan has already finished a few laps down. Oh, and WMDR Martin will finish in reverse. Let's hope he won't get disqualified for that, but let's see. WMDR Martin crosses the line in P6 in reverse. So that's it. Second race done. Old Padawan uncontested. Domination in this race. 11 seconds between him and P2. PC Rider finishes second. English Pickwickle finishes third after that brief fight with Dudek the Pole. Anton crosses the line in fifth. WMDR Martin sixth. Finishes in style. Speeding Sedan seventh. And then we have the 5 DNFs. Only Lord, I don't know, classified from those 5 for some reason. So that's it for the racing. I will see if we have any of the drivers happy to come for an interview. I think that's it for the stream. With quality, I hope I can get it resolved for the first official race of the season. I'm really not happy with the quality, but hopefully I'll get it resolved. Hopefully it doesn't come to my internet, because if that's the reason, then I won't be available to stream the rest of the races. But thank you for spending the evening with me and with our wonderful races. Great racing in the first race and in the second, in the finish of the second race. Hopefully more to come in the next races of the season. For the following races will have points. Obviously this race, the preseason test. Oh, and we have WMDR Martin waiting for an interview. So we'll get him quickly and do like the poll. So we are not finished yet, seems like. So WMDR Martin, hello.
Oh, hello.
So quite a bit unlucky in the second race. Can you tell us a little bit of it from your perspective?
Yeah, the first race was quite fun, but the second one was a bit of a disaster. Had a pretty good start, made some positions out of the first two corners, but then the guy in front of me spun on the inside of the corner, and there was stuff going on the outside, so I didn't really have anywhere to go, and T-boned him, which forced me into the pits, and basically out of contention. But later on, Dudek was catching me, and we were gonna have a nice fight. But then I touched the inside curb of the final corner, which just sent me to the left for some odd reason, which ended my chances there as well. Which is it's a bit strange because I touched that curb so many times, and that's the only time it sent me out to spin straight into him. So it's a bit unfortunate there.
Well, that sounds a bit unlucky. How do you think you will do in the championship itself? It seems like we have a really closely matched on pace grid. and it seems like the upcoming races can be quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you obviously saw some of the best slipstreaming battles we've had in quite some time in that first race, and last week out in I think it was Nürburgring, we had another practice race as well, and that was quite a competitive one. I'd say the main thing we have to watch out for is contact with these things, because just a tiny bit of contact with these Formula rookie cars can lead to 100 suspension damage and basically end your race. So it's very, very dangerous to drive these cars with damage on.
Yep, that's true. We had quite a few rollovers in the first race, quite a few accidents. So thank you for this interview. I'll get on to interviewing the other guys, and have a good night.
You too. Have fun.
So, Tickers Pickle, hello, our coordinator and mod. How did you enjoy the racing this night? Obviously, a win in the first race. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. No, it was overall it was fun, definitely. I think we can both agree that it was not the most cleanest of races, but I think it was a good idea to have this kind of preseason round where we didn't have any points scoring, because I think people kind of needed to get a couple of races under their fingertips, just to uh, get used to the cars and the racing, because yeah, and also I think this track was particularly bad for incidents, because we're kind of going full speed on. So it was a little bit difficult to race side by side. So hopefully for the rest of the season it should be better. But overall it was a fun evening of racing, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
It seems like it. Can you tell me how do you expect to end up in the championship? Do you think you can fight for the wins in the rest of the races as well?
Well, I mean, definitely race one was promising. There were some incidents that I definitely uh, I guess gained from. But I mean that could happen in any race. So uh, I definitely think I can fight for like podiums and stuff. So and a win here and there wouldn't I wouldn't mind that certainly. So I'll uh, I'll do my best, definitely.
Thank you. Unfortunately I don't have more questions for you.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Thank you for the evening and have a good night.
You too, mate.
So the last
Hello.
hello, the last interview of the day, Dudek, the pole sitter for the first race. How did you enjoy the racing tonight?